This is Valmiki Ramayan, Season 2, Episode 2, Preparing for the Coronation. In the previous episode, we saw that the council, Parishad, had wholeheartedly approved Dashrath's proposal to appoint Ram as his successor. The people had spoken. Dashrath then summoned Ram to the court. Ram had of course stayed away from the earlier discussions since the council had to be neutral, madhyastha, without any conflict of interest. Sumantra brought Ram from his palace to the court in a chariot. An interesting aside, note that Ram and Sita did not live with Dashrath in a joint family-like setup. The couple had their own place. Dashrath said to Ram, "You have won over the people with your virtues and your behavior. Tasmat tvam pushyayogena yauvarajyam avapnuhi. Therefore tomorrow in the Pushya Nakshatra, you shall be crowned as the Yuvaraj, my successor." Dashrath also said that he had an uneasy feeling, a sense of foreboding, and wanted to get the ceremony done as soon as possible. And he thought that there was no better time than now. It was the month of Chaitra, and the forests were resplendent with flowers. By the way, when this announcement was made in the court, we are told that kings of other Janpads from the north, south, east and west were present. And so were the Vanashailanta Vasinah, those who dwelt in the forests and the mountains. Remember, we had heard about the Vanaras, the forest dwellers, in episode 7 of season 1. The Vanaras were as much a part of the society as the people of the Janpads and Nagars. They were not excluded in any way. The news of Ram's coronation spread fast. When Ram came to meet Kausalya, Sumitra, Lakshman and Sita were already there. Kausalya was sitting quietly, eyes closed, in deep meditation. Ram said to her, "Pitra niyuktosmi prajapalana karmani." Father has assigned me the responsibility of taking care of the people. Note again, the entire focus of being a king was not on the privileged life that comes with the role, but on the responsibility and duty that the role entails. To Lakshman, Ram said, "My brother, we have to do this together." Kausalya's eyes teared up with happiness and her throat choked with emotion. She gave her blessings. Chiranjeeva hataste paripanthina. May you live long. May your enemies perish. Ram and Sita went back to their palace, where they were briefed by Vasishtha on what all they had to do in preparation for the ceremonies the next day. Among other things, they were to sleep that night on a grass mat on the floor. So much for the luxuries of royal life. When Vasishtha was returning from Ram's house, he saw an Ayodhya excitedly preparing for the coronation. The streets had been sprinkled with fragrant water, and the houses and buildings decorated with flags. Men, women, and children were out on the streets to celebrate. Vasishtha's chariot slowly wove its way through the crowded Rajmarg towards the royal palace. The air was thick with excitement. The next in line in the Ikshwaku dynasty was going to take charge. A tough act to follow after such illustrious predecessors as Sagar, Bhagirath, and King Raghu. Let us take a moment to really understand what this coronation meant. Who were these Raghuvanshis? What was the core of their belief system that Ram was to uphold? We have seen repeatedly, even during the conversations of today, that the very purpose of being the ruler was to serve the people. The king ensured the welfare of all people, and in turn the legitimacy of his power depended on their support. And people's welfare was built on the foundation of dharma, righteousness, and satya, truth. Earlier in Mithila, when Vasishtha had introduced the Ikshvakus to Janak, he had said, Adivansha Vishuddhanam Radnyam Paramadharminam Ikshvakukulajātānam Veeranam Satyavadinam. The Ikshvakus are highly heroic, truthful, and they uphold dharma. And even before that, when Vishwamitra had arrived in Dashrath's court, and Dashrath had initially refused to send Ram in spite of his promise to the contrary, Vishwamitra had said, Purvamartham pratishtutya pratidnyam hatumichhasi Raghavanam ayuktoyam kulasyasya viparyaya. First you promised something, now you want to break the promise. This is not the way of the Raghuvanshi kings. If you do so, the destruction of your people is assured. And in the same situation, Vasishtha had counseled Dashrath, born in the line of Ikshvaku, you are dharma personified. You always remain firm and steadfast. Do not abandon your dharma now. And pratishrutya karishyeti uktam vakyam akurvatah. Those who promise to do something and then do not stay true to their word, for them all the fruits of their good deeds are destroyed. Think about it. If the king's word is not sacrosanct, if his promise does not really mean anything, if his contract cannot be trusted on, then whose word is to be trusted? Which contract can be trusted? Where is the question of righteousness? Without trust, how will society function? And thus, the Ikshvaku and Raghuvansha legacy that Ram was stepping into was this. The law is sacrosanct. A promise is a promise. Sant Tulsidas beautifully captured this essence. Raghukul reet sada chali aayi, pran jaye par vachan na jaye. The creed of the Raghuvanshi kings has always been this. Even death is acceptable, but breaking a promise is not an option. Iti ha asa. That is how it happened.